Today we're going to be cleaning a Carrier air conditioner. This is the Carrier air conditioner model XCA121D. This particular machine is a 12,000 BTU from 94. It's a 10.5 BER, which is very high efficiency even for the day. In regards to this form factor. If you have one of these and you're looking at this video because you want to service it, it might seem daunting, but be patient and get through the process. These are fantastic machines, much better quality than anything you can buy today, and with good service, these machines will certainly reward you with many years of reliable operation. But nothing lasts properly without maintenance. So let's get started. This is a slide out model. So once we have the unit out of the window or out of within the wall, you'll have this frame and you've got a handle down here. And this is locked. This one's very rusty, so it might have it might take some effort to get it to move. I haven't worked on one of these in a couple of years, so you have to excuse me for a moment while I try to recollect how this comes out. There might be a latch somewhere. I know there is on the International series. I don't necessarily see how. That's not. We will need to take these pieces off the side. I don't think that that's what's holding it in place, but that will need to come off. I feel like that should be it. Unless, let's see anything on the top. Yeah, that's it. It just didn't have good leverage. Very rusty, so it might catch on things as we move it in and out. When these turn 30 years old, they're starting to get rusted if they're not taken care of. We are left with a plethora of rust on the floor. Looks bad, but don't be alarmed, it is what it is. These often rot out, the whole base pan disappears. That's what we've got going on here. Sadly, that's That's normal if a drain hole was not drilled upon installation. It will still run just fine, being like that. The machine, it's a little more delicate now, but the machine itself doesn't really wear. That comes off the top there, and then you should be able to. The screws are missing on this side. I don't know whatever happened to those screws. I wonder if this was disassembled at some point. It looks like it might have been. I don't know if all this insulation is original. I guess maybe it is. I think what we're going to aim to do is take off this piece. A lot more to it than that. Pretty ratted out bolts at the bottom that need to come off. Hopefully I can get them. One over there, probably one somewhere down here too. I don't feel one, but there's gotta be. Maybe there's just that one more. Try with a socket wrench, perhaps. It's actually coming out. And it came out pretty easily too. Not surprising. So we're also going to detach the fan motor. Those looks like they are also 1/4 inch. And these also look like they're going to come out, which is surprising. Came out. Interesting. Usually these put up a lot more fight than this when they get to be this old. Support is free now. We're going to remove the screws for the condenser, plastic condenser shield. If there's anything left of them, I don't even know. There is. It's screwed into something still. fan out. Evaporator chamber out and the condenser chamber out. Somebody has definitely been in here before, which is kind of unusual. This was messed up over here. There's a chunk missing there. But overall, it's not too bad. And the coil is going on the bottom, but that unfortunately is standard because water sits in here, and unless you drill the hole to let the water out, you get the water. That's why I always say drill a hole in here to let the water out. But the coil, the rest of the way up, seems pretty good. It's fine up until about maybe an inch or two up. Very dirty, so we'll take care of that. What it does, this is getting very little airflow through here, so that's not good at all. The evaporator fan here is the worst though. Definitely the worst part of this mess. I'll give you a shot of this evaporator fan. That's just pure mold in there. It's nasty. It's a wonder it's even moving as much air as it is. It's disgusting. So we'll get all that cleaned up and go from there. So the first thing I want to do is try to remove the condenser fan so we can take this shroud off, because that whole shroud is kind of delicate. It's yellow from the sun, whatever. If it doesn't come off with ease, I might just leave it, but I'd much rather take it off. So chances are good it's going to be stuck on here. It's a very brittle blade, so we can't really apply a lot of force to it. I'm going to go get some I'll go get some pliers and see what we can do here. That really has zero interest in coming off of there, which I kind of suspected. Actually, is it budging? It is. It might come. It's going to come. Cool. Okay, next we're going to disconnect the wires so we can detach the compressor. Going here into our terminal box. These all work a little bit different. They're like a snake on a puzzle every time you work on one of these things. is not the most intuitive thing I've ever seen. How the heck does this work? There it goes. Actually, not a bad design at all. Alright, so we'll get some paper. And we're going to make some notes about where the wires go. So we want to detach the compressor, which is blue, black, and yellow. So the yellow goes to the top right. Before I do that, I'm just going to cycle through, make sure the thermostat's on. I'm going to cycle through all the positions to discharge the capacitor. Blue goes to the capacitor. Blue is capacitor run, and then the black is cap run, cap common. Okay. It's a 30-year-old capacitor. It could probably fair to be changed soon. But this was something I was going to run unattended all the time. I would go ahead and swap it out, but I don't think I have another one on hand, so we'll just leave it alone. Okay, so now our compressor is detached from the refrigeration system as its own entity. So we can take that outside, clean that up. Wow, put that in a piece of life. Alright, now let's take a look at this evaporator chamber. Because we gotta keep going with this, because this is unusable the way it is, to say the least. I believe that we should be able to detach this plastic from here. busted in here. Someone has definitely been in here before. I wonder if it started to smell like mold and it was thrown out because the previous owner could not figure this part out. That's what it kind of looks like, because this is bent out. If somebody tried to pry this off, all these tabs are bent here. There's tabs bent, these are not bent, they're broken. These are broken in here, and I did not break anything doing this, so it's not the image for me. Quite seeing what it's stuck on, but we're not just going to force it. We're going to evaluate it slowly until we figure out what's going on. And then when we find out, then we use the appropriate amount of force to resolve it. Sticking somewhere right behind there, and I just don't understand what it is that's there that's sticking. How people run these things like this for years is beyond me, because this does not happen overnight. I mean, this is years and years of neglect. I really don't understand what the problem is here. There's a screw right here. I don't think that that's what's causing our problem. You see that screw? Oh, actually, I think that is what's causing our problem. There's two screws. Yep. That's why you don't force it. You just be patient and figure it out. Closer look at what we're dealing with. Flipping ridiculous. No one's ever cleaned this in probably 30 years. It's just disgusting. Really would like this blower wheel to come off of here. Let's see if we can get it off. These are nice ball bearing motors. They last a very long time. And the whole machine does it to take care of it. Usually it's this, usually the other fan is what's hard to get off. This usually comes off fairly easily. It's coming, but it's just slow. Just keep working it back and forth. You'll get it. Just be patient. It's only plastic. You can't apply a lot of force. I've dealt with enough of these to know the boundaries of how much force you can apply. It's not a whole lot. It's going. It's coming. And just keep working it slowly. And there we go. Alright, so now we can give this a real good cleanup. Look at this. It's nasty. It's going to move so much more air now. Got to clean this part. All that mold on there. It should be black and white, and it's like just nasty. So this part I'm going to leave inside. There's really nothing to do here. Ball bearing motor, we can vacuum that out. So the motor itself doesn't need any service. Ball bearings, when they go out, you replace them. These are fine still, so we'll leave it alone. There's no grease ports, nothing to do in the motor. If it was sleeve bearing, we'd be able to oil it, but it's not. So we're going to go ahead and go outside in just a few minutes to start cleanup of the coils and everything. But first we'll do some vacuuming, get the big chunks out of here. Make sure we get all the screws out of the way. And I forgot that the vacuum filter is kind of blocked, so I'm going to clean the vacuum filter, and then we'll get started here with the vacuuming of the units. Here's our evaporator. It's in pretty bad shape. We're going to use New Bright to clean this up. Use this extremely conservatively, like 1 to 10, 1 to 15 ratios to start. And if you really can't get it off, then you can go more concentrated. But this stuff will do a lot of damage to the coil if you use it wrong. And a lot of people do use it wrong. So we're going to go like 1 to 10 here, because this is pretty bad. I even try to avoid getting it on the loops on the ends because it's just extra corrosion that they don't need. It's very important to get the insides of the coil as well. We're going to start rinsing from the side that opposes the airflow, the opposing airflow direction, in hopes to kind of push the dirt out. So we're going to spray from the inside for the evaporator. Look at what that did at such a low ratio. That was about 1 to 10 only. And we're going to rinse this real good. It's very important to rinse extensively when using this stuff. We're going to rinse, and then we're going to straighten out the coil fins, and then we'll do a couple of more applications. Alright, I'm going to get my coil comb, and then we can straighten out all these parts that are messed up, and then we'll wash it again, and then those parts will be able to come clean. This is not a particularly thick coil. This might be a, let's say, maybe a 14 per inch. Where's my 14? Yep, it's a 14. I'm looking at these coils for a long time. So now we take our coil comb, and we're going to go through here and correct all these bends. And this is not an extra step, this is an essential step. You need to do this. Otherwise the machine is not going to work properly, especially the condenser coil. You really don't want to lose any condensing capabilities on these window or wall units, because the condenser area is really, in theory, too small to begin with anyways. That's good for the evaporator front. It's a little bit messed up on the inside, but not anything crazy. It should just take a couple minutes to fix. Just a couple parts that are something collided with, nothing like the outside was. That's actually going to be good enough. Yeah. Alright, so that's the evaporator all straightened out. Another round of coil cleaner on there. that's stained. It's not going to come off. I could get that off, but it's not worth the damage to the coil that it would take to use a higher concentration. Need to rinse until all that soap stops appearing. We're going to move on to the condenser. We're going to clean that, and then we'll rinse the whole thing more thoroughly. And a lot of fins are bent too, which is not good. Gonna mix up some more cleaner. So this is a real bad area here. You definitely do not want to have blockages like that in the coil. That will severely reduce performance. It will also severely reduce the efficiency as well for those that are concerned about that. This whole thing is bent over. This is very terrible. I bet this was damaged from when the previous person tried to do whatever he or she tried to do to the equipment and did the other damage to the front. Now I'm noticing now that a huge chunk of the evaporator foam styrofoam is actually missing. It's not just that one piece I thought before. The coil comb is clogging up because small pieces of the fins are breaking off in the comb. That's from the water sitting in there. Which people claim is good, but I mean, this is a very common sight when machines set up like that. I can assure you it is not good. And if there was not water sitting in here all these years, this would probably be in the window already. We wouldn't have to deal with all this. Not this bending, all the rust and all this extensive cleaning. Because the water also causes dirt to stick in the coil and all around the machine. this is getting really bad down here. I'm having a hard time with a couple of these rows. Get as much of it as we can. It's been running the way it is now, so whatever we do is going to be a huge improvement. We'll have to live with that. Of course, in a perfect world you get it to 100%, but in a perfect world we do not operate. We're actually going to get pretty close though. I think we'll get at least 95. Whole thing kind of looks a little bit bent over, as if like something flat just hit up against the entire length of the coil. That I don't quite understand. Getting a little too soft over here to really work this properly, so we're just gonna stop over there. But that's pretty good. Get a lot more air through there now than there was before. Pull these pieces out because they'll get stuck on the fan. Major improvement. Just mostly the general goal is just to make it better. And we'll go to the other side. And it's pretty beat on this side too. Usually this is the worst side because this is easier for there to be collision with it as you move it around and so forth. It's kind of odd that the other side was the worst. Oh, the camera battery's only at 5%. That stinks. I have to take a break and get a new battery. Certainly don't want to miss a single minute of this riveting process. The outside of this is actually a little more delicate than the inside. Look at this, wow. Not good. It's going to take some effort to get through this. We'll get it, but it's not going to come easy. When it's that bent over, it usually doesn't ever look good again, but at least it'll work good. Yeah, see how it just doesn't look great, but it's free, it's unrestricted. That's all that matters. It'd be nice if it looked better, but at the end of the day, it's a coil. It's meant to exchange heat. As long as it does that, then all is well. We got to go through pretty much the whole thing top to bottom. Even this little stuff here will impede airflow too. Alright, that's pretty good. If it wasn't 85 degrees and 100% humidity out here, I would spend a little more time to make it look better, get like a couple of these stripes out, but they don't really serve a functional problem, it's just a cosmetic issue. And so I think that we're just going to leave it alone. You can always go back and correct it more later on. The main goal here is just to get it into a good functional state, which it's way better than it was before, so that's good. Alright, let's do another. Actually, I only did half the coil. Let's do the rest of the coil in the cleaner. This is taking way longer than I thought. I didn't realize how bad a condition this machine was in. We're losing daylight here. still getting soap outside. It really takes a long time to get all of it off. And sometimes the high volume water works the best.
significant amount of soap coming out, so I think we're good. Not ideal, but I think we're going to clean the rest of it inside because it's just getting too dark to see clearly out here. This is among the worst. Absolutely is. It's not the worst, but it's one of the worst. I got these brushes recently at the grocery store. They were on sale for $1.50. I think they're fantastic. I'm going to get a few more when if they're still on sale next time I'm there. Just insane. It might be worth going out and mixing up some more condenser coil and just soaking this in that, because this is going to take some time to clean this off. Normally, if it was daylight, still I would have just gone outside and sprayed this with the condenser cleaner, but I'm doing this for now. It's take a little bit longer, but I think it's better than being out there with the mosquitoes. I just never understood how people let these get like this, because I would think that it would start to smell bad way before it gets to this point. And my grandmother complains that hers smells when it's got like 2 microns of dust on it. This thing must have smelled terrible. It's going to move so much more air now. I didn't even feel like the thing moved. I didn't feel like it was moving a weak amount of air either. I was not expecting it to look like this. If I knew that this was how it looked, I would have saved this for another day. Probably could have fixed the machine this is going to replace. in the time it's taken to clean this. Oh man, we're getting there. It's just, this is really, really bad. One of the things I do like about servicing my own stuff is that when you go and turn this on, you appreciate that cold air a little bit more than if you had no idea what it takes to maintain one of these. Alright, that's starting to look halfway decent now. Yeah, actually looks pretty good. It's going to move so much more air now compared to the way that it was before. I'm not too concerned about the cleanliness of this blade because you don't breathe the air that this is moving, but we'll give it a quick clean up here. This is all outdoor dirt, so it's going to be hard to get off making a huge difference here. This fan being dirty is not the reason why it wasn't working well. It was the coil that being dirty that's the problem. These parts seldom turn perfect, at least when I get the bulk of it off. I tend to think that whatever doesn't come off with the cleaner and the brush is probably not going to come off into the year. Yeah, this doesn't look that great, but Like I said, if it's not coming off now, I really don't think it's coming off in a year. This I really would have preferred to clean outside, but it is what it is. Now we need the stronger brush. One of the things I do like about this model over the International is the use of the insulation. This is much easier to clean than the International when that insulation gets full of mold and so forth. I'm not going to be as particular out in this area because this is on the outside now, not in the actual evaporator chamber, so we're not breathing air from this section. I got the sprayer all full of soap. the International series, this is all foam inside here, and when it gets moldy, it's very difficult to clean. This is easy to clean. It's just plastic. It wipes right down. It's not perfect, but everything is a lot better than it was. Coils are pretty clean now. You can see through them, they're straight, not all bent up and cockamine. The condenser is stained at the top. You can get that off with strong enough concentrations of coil cleaner, but using very strong concentrations of that stuff does damage, so it's just not worth it. It's really only a cosmetic issue. So I could have got it a little bit cleaner in some areas, but because of the circumstances, you know, this is really unexpected and quite frankly unwanted project today. So we did the best we can to get it in clean working order, and we can always revisit it in the future to clean it up a little better. So let's see, what order does this go? Fan blade's got to go on here. This goes on first. See, it goes like this. Right? Yep. This goes like that. And then the blower can go on. Couple drops of oil on the shaft will save us some grief next time and make it come off a lot easier. This is wet. I don't care, just like the filters, can go on wet, it doesn't matter. Flat spot on there, flat spot on there. See how easily that slid on there? Now, we got to make sure that, what's keeping that in place? I guess that'll get pushed in place by the plastic piece, but this is too far now. It's on too far. I I remember it was kind of right at the end. Got them ball bearings running perfect still. Nice cobwebs out of here. Now I'll vacuum those out. So do with that. Next we will install, I guess the condenser blade can go on next. This is going to keep falling off there, which is annoying. I think the shroud has to go on first. Well, that's backwards. It goes like that. Put a little bit of oil on this shaft as well. Just like a drop or two, nothing crazy. These fans were such overkill. They used these fans in all of the sizes from this series, and some of them get really huge. Like on the 21 and the 18 is ridiculous. I can only imagine how much air these move when they're not behind a coil. It's got to be astronomical. I doubt these will break, but if someday these break beyond repair, I guess we'll turn the fans inside the window fans. Alright, next we gotta slip the wires back in for the compressor. And the biggest challenge is slipping the whole thing back on. I missed some of the dirt here. I want to get that out because that is on the evaporator chamber. Just wipe it off very quick. Yeah, this is so easy to clean. I really like the design of these units. It's kind of rare to see a really good unit this late in the game. These are 90s models. And the quality was slipping by the 90s for sure. But they were still decent products. And this is definitely one of them.
dirty in here, but it doesn't matter. The air doesn't pass through. Normally I would clean the whole thing meticulously, but it's because of the context of this one. We're just kind of going a little quicker than usual. Still doing a good job, but it's not quite still up. Somebody who did not know what he or she was doing definitely worked on this at some point. And unfortunately, he or she did some irreversible damage to certain parts of the unit. This is supposed to clip on here on the right side and clip the duster off. That stinks. Oh well. Should have been a little more careful with the screws. Going together pretty quick. I think at this point we should reconnect the electricals, and then we're ready to slide it back in place. The whole condenser coil is bent as well. I mean the evaporator coil rather, and there's a huge chunk missing out of the styrofoam. It doesn't really matter, but it's not the way that it should be. I mean, the whole thing really isn't the way that it should be with all the rust. But it'll still run. I get a lot of commentary from people getting all bent out of shape when the pans look like this. Oh my gosh, it's done. No, it's not. It's fine. I've serviced and restored units way worse than this. They're still running to this day with no problem. The one upstairs, this whole section is gone. And it works perfectly. The only time this becomes an issue is when the air starts to escape. Otherwise, it's not a problem. Now, what I might do on this one, because the air is going to start to escape, is I might take some steel wool and just stuff some steel wool into there. I might hold moisture, I'm not sure. I gotta talk to some people about what the best option is here. I think I'm just gonna leave it for now. It's a small hole. I've used spray foam insulation before to plug those holes, and I think that's probably one of the best options. I don't have any on here, I don't think. So that again would be, ooh, that's not good. Water in there. Did we get water all up in the journals here? I'm gonna check. We did, we'll just dry it out real quick, it's not a big deal. Sure, we don't want to plug it in that way.
Always kind of a good idea to check under here anyways, because sometimes the wires get burnt and stuff, and you gotta redo the contacts. Hopefully nothing crazy is going on here. It did get a little bit wet, but not really the wire, it's the contact itself. We'll just go ahead and dry that out real quick. I can find that tipper towel. Everything actually looks pretty good in here. Yeah, nothing crazy. Not a question. Yeah, everything's good in there. We'll leave that alone. Normally I would go through details like this too and clean all this off, but not today. Okay, so we got to get the compressor over to where the camera is to be able to slide these wires in. Stick the wires into this little hole here, to this piece of plastic and into the hole. And one thing I'll give the International is that the this whole portion here is metal, and this plastic was a much better material. It's kind of brittle on this one from the heat. Okay, here's our compressor wires. And where did that paper go? I just saw it a few minutes ago. Where's the paper? There it is. Alright, so we know that the yellow wire went to the top right of the switch.
the blue wire went to run on the capacitor, which we're going to have to take the capacitor off to reattach that wire. This is easily serviced once it's in the window in terms of the capacitor, so we can go ahead and check the capacitor another day. It is a 25.5 capacitor. Which I might have one of those on hand. It's a very common, pretty common for these units, this type of unit. This wants all the wires to feed through here. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so the blue wire goes to the hermetics run. That's way too loose. Clamp this down a little bit more. Black going to the common. Oh, I'm doing this. Blue to hermetics run, and black to the common. I should have just slid this in and then done this. We would have had a lot more slack to work with. Okay. That's all set. And we can go back and test this capacitor some other day. Don't need to do that right now. You're kidding. What the heck is the problem here? This is going to be the hardest part, is putting this screw. Okay. What the heck? I can't get it. I might just slip it in and deal with this after it's in. It'll be easier, I think. There will be more slack. Pretty much at the maximum allowed tension here in the wires.
There we go. Okay. Yep. Okay, we got it. We gotta clean this off. We'll do that once it's installed. I like the way that goes together. That's kind of cool. This is upside down. Goes like that. I'd even want to bet that the person that worked on this, that messed it up, used coil cleaner and didn't rinse it, because that's usually what this will do if you don't rinse the coil cleaner properly. You get that corrosion. That's why I sat there and rinsed it for as long as I did, because it matters. It's important. Very important. Alright, here we go. This is the hardest part. You gotta slip everything back in, and it has to be done in perfect unity, otherwise it'll get screwed up. Hello, camera. Okay. Only got 10% left on the camera battery. I hope that that's enough to get this slid in. So the tabs on this side are busted, so that's just floating on that side. Actually, are they? No, wait, they're screws. Okay, we can screw it down. So I got at least one of the tabs in on this side. The other ones are broken. Fan mount is stuck on the refrigerant line there. That's not good. Actually, that was pretty painless, all things considered. That was not bad at all. This might take some playing with to get it to line up right. Because of how rotted everything is, this may not fit perfectly just the way it's supposed to. I'm going to have to mess with it a little bit. There's something left of the post on the left side. No, tell me that's on backwards. Is it? No, it's not on backwards. Why is it hitting the refrigerant lines? I guess I must have just bent that unintentionally. Alright, so the evaporator chamber is not down all the way because that fan motor is hovering off the base. And that would explain why it's scraping against the housing. It's not putting on this side correctly. And this is where it's bent. This whole piece here is bent out. This is messed up with the whole thing down. It's down most of the way now on this side. It's still heavy. Oh, I see what the problem is. It's caught on the insulation for the line there. That's mostly in place. It's still hovering slightly. We're getting very close. Very close. Something's messed up on this side now. Sure what it is because this side is all out of whack. And this is stuck. This is supposed to be able to come out. Huh, is that the problem? Is that inserted correctly? Going on right. And this is bent. I don't know how to fix that because you can't get any leverage on it really. Fan mount is sitting on the bottom. fan is not moving, but we'll take care of that in a minute.
Correct there, and I think there should be a grounding screw. I think that goes onto the, yeah, there is. That will go there and kind of hold that in place.
Alright, we're getting real close to the end here. Now let's see what's going on with this with the fan. It's sitting on the bottom, so this needs to be repositioned. Alright, it's spinning freely now. Now let's get the fan bolted down, and then bolt on the condenser. A bunch of the screws that we took out are not. What I was attempting to explain before we lost the battery is that a bunch of these screws are not going to go back in because they're rusted. Either the screws are too rusted or the holes are too rusted. So we'll put in as many as we can once I find where the screwdriver is. We'll need to readjust this once all the screws are in place. That's fine. I'm not concerned about that. Whoops. Oh no. Just couldn't have been a magnetic screw, could it? Getting into tight quarters here with this screw. It's probably the hardest to reach of them all.
this, in theory, is supposed to go like this, and it does not want to do that. The condenser is bent like everything else on this machine. I have to make some efforts to try to bend it forwards. This is, I think, going to be a real pain in the neck to get this to work properly. Oh great, it's scraping on the inside now. Why wasn't it doing that before? You've got to be kidding. Well, let's screw this down before we start panicking about that. This all has to shift just a little bit. That's all it takes to fix that. These screws will pull it back a little bit, and that should hopefully keep it from scratching on the inside. Seem to be pretty copacetic right now. Now this might flex when we go to pick it up to put it in the window, and that could introduce another problem. That's a problem that exists with the living room machine. So over here, we'll screw this on, but it's not going to change much because the whole condenser is still moving around, so it's not like this is going to necessarily solve our problems.
is good with this screw. It's the wrong size. Need a self-tapping screw here. And I only have one left. This four for something else. There's two will go on the top. We'll just, maybe we can put a self-tapping or a non-self-tapping screw here. There we go. That's the wrong size. I thought these are all the same size, but apparently they're not. This piece will be the saving grace because this will kind of hold the condenser in place. If it's actively scraping, that's not good. I don't know if is there any adjustment on this? Not really. No. That's what I was afraid of, is it was going to get all screwed up once we attach this thing. Right. Oh man. Oh. It's not working at all here. Ah, stupid bugs. Alright, this is a serious problem. So we have to get this to cooperate with that piece connected, because that piece will hold it in place, but it's got to be holding it in the right place, which now it's not doing. It's hitting over here. That's hitting on the bottom, so that's implying that the whole apparatus is too high up, and it might be because there's rot pushing it up. It's fine right now, but I have a feeling as soon as we slide it in, it's not going to be fine. We have one part of one screw left on the
condenser mount. Let me see if I can get us. See if I can get this to go in there. It's barely hanging on by a thread. It might rot out by the end of the season. It's on there for now, but it's not holding very strong, nor is it holding in the right spot. This is a problem. This is a big problem. I need to get this to pull forward some more. I wish this had adjustment capabilities to it, but this doesn't, of course, because it's not designed to be attaching something that's rusted beyond all recognition. You know, this really has no way to move the unit in or out. Obviously, you can't run like that. It's not going to work. I don't understand why it is it too... It's too high up, I think, is the problem. Which is kind of an odd problem to have. Sitting over here. Sitting over there. I'm not sure. I might have to refabricate this piece in such a way that it pulls everything forward. Because if I could pull this forward, it seems to kind of solve the problem. If this whole thing wasn't bent, it would naturally be pulled forward, but it's all bent. This was not a Monday night project at all, and I just didn't realize that it was in such bad condition. There's that screw that I wanted. One other screw of a different variety that goes in the front. I just would hate to lug this all the way upstairs and I find out that I really can't get the fans to line up. But I guess that's a risk we're going to have to take. Now this whole fiasco with the fan would have been avoided with a drain hole. That's worse than it's ever been. Yeah, if we pull this forward, it seems to make it happier. So we might have to, I might have to like drill a second hole into that piece. Or maybe I can kind of bend it down a little bit, maybe to make it theoretically shorter.
This is really starting to get frustrating. I've been sweating all evening and I've been putting up with it, but now I've had it. Okay, well, that's made it worse. Nothing I'm doing seems to be making it right. If I go like that, it seems to be pretty copacetic. So maybe I will just drill a new hole in here and go like that. Don't like that idea, but at some point, enough is enough. The only problem with doing that is it might cause an issue on the top with the sliding into the case. So we'll have to see what happens. I'm going to drill a little hole there and see if I can make it work that way. I feel like this is going to solve one problem and create another. That's my guess here. Well, fan is happy now. Let's see if it'll slide into the case. As long as it slides into the case, that's just the way it's going to be. Oh, I'm tired. That was a lot of work. But it'll be very rewarding to put this machine in and enjoy the cool air. Finally take some of the humidity out of the air. I thought that it might be easier to install the case in the window and then slide that thing in, but with the condition of the base pan, I don't think so. I think sliding this in is going to be a challenge. If it doesn't get stuck on the bottom, it's going to get stuck up here. Shift a lot as I pick it up to put it in the window. Let's see. See what happens. It's going to be sketchy, that's all I know. I might have to stop for a dinner break before I can work up the strength to hoist this into the window. It's already stuck on something. Oh no, maybe not. Probably getting stuck on the bottom now. The rust holes. Sometimes the pieces of rust will stick down and then they get stuck on the case as you try to slide it in. Well, that feels like a harder stop than that. So far so good on a fan. I guess this does not have a lock. Oh, you know how it locks? When the screw goes in for the case, that covers it. Alright. Let's see. Fan spinning. What a relief. Alright, let's turn this thing on. Where's the case? Here it is. Despite the condition of the unit, the case is very clean. So I'm not going to play with it tonight. Maybe tomorrow. Take the case off tomorrow and wash it. I've got the cover and the knobs. The door has a busted hinge, so it kind of falls off. Let's see if we can glue something on there to fix that. I think that the control panel has to go on first. This is kind of all misshapen and mangled here. Someone really did a number on this thing. Something's not 100% with this control box here. Because this should be sitting back a lot further, like that. You know, so that you could control the switches. And it's just refusing to do so, and I don't really understand why. It seems like it's clipped in. I don't know. Well, let's give this thing a quick test run, make sure it gets cold still, and then we'll get it upstairs. It's gonna take some effort, but we'll get it. The tabs are busted off this panel as well. Whoever worked on this was not gentle. A lot of stuff is bent here. Bent and cracked, which are not good things. Okay, live. Now we gotta hope that there's no flaky clicking, clacking, fan grinding sounds. That's a relief. Yeah, it's moving at considerably more air than it was before, which is to be expected. See how we're doing out the back. It's more even. You know, top to bottom there's airflow now, but it's still not an impressive amount of air out the condenser. Oh, it's already cold. Ah, that feels good. Now this should run a lot better now. It's still far from perfect, but it's the best it can be considering how rotted it is. This is not working properly, and I think I can see why. Neither of these are. There we go. Fixed it. Sounds easy. Sure is nice when things are easy. Seems like everything's complicated today. This is such a nice, quiet machine. This has got to be one of the quietest 12Ks I have ever heard. There's practically no fan noise at all. I bet this dehumidifier is really good too, considering how slow the airflow is. I think I'm going to really like this unit. Running for a few minutes. It is ice cold, and the whole coil is sweating, so it is operating properly. I still feel like there's not a whole lot of airflow out of the condenser, but it's not anywhere near as hot as it was when I was testing it the first time I got it. Without cleaning it, the condenser was just cooking, and you could hear the compressor was really struggling to operate properly when the fan was on low, and now it sounds fine on low. And the air is there's not a lot coming out, but it's not that hot. You know, it's as warm as it should be, but it's not
overheating. So it's working, and I can't wait to get this installed.